Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We got Vince.
She doesn't cry out. She's tough. I like that.
We got Chris.
What do you want, eh?
And I'm Kia. Welcome to the show. We're reading some Wolverine today. It's very tough quotes here from everybody here. We're reading Wolverine's first self-titled series back in, oh God, did I write down the year of this? 1982, is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
It was just a 4-issue miniseries by Chris Claremont, who was the X-guy of the 70s and 80s and all that. And art by Frank Miller, the ninja guy. He likes to draw ninjas. He's known for other stuff. That's what we're calling him here.
Was he doing Daredevil at the same time, or was it like a year after? Because I looked, like the death of Elektra is like 81, and this is 82.
Yeah, this is like at the end of his Daredevil run, so he might have had like a couple of issues, but he I think scripts a handful of issues before getting to 200. But he's not drawing that much after the death of Elektra. He does like 2 more issues.
Okay.
All right, so they sent him over here to do some ninjas, or maybe he just wanted to do ninjas.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
And then Dark Phoenix or the Phoenix Saga is around this time too?
That was a few years earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, when Claremont takes over with Dave Cockrum, it's bi-monthly. So the first few issues are like take up a lot of time because they're only doing 6 issues a year. But then I think by like 77 or 78, it becomes 12 issues a year, and then Byrne is on, and then Byrne I think is already left by this point because Dark Phoenix is 1980, so 1982 is like when Byrne's going to Fantastic Four and Dave Cockrum's coming back.
And God Loves Man Kills is in 82. So
yes,
that's the era we're in of X-Men. So we're still in like a prime Claremont X-Men time.
This is like the X-Men are spreading out to the larger Marvel universe, and they're also like becoming a huge phenomenon.
So I assume they wanted to cash in on that popularity of Wolverine and start getting some. So was he the first X-Man to get his own solo comic? I don't know. That would have been a good thing to look up beforehand. I feel like it is.
But it's not that quick, because like Giant Size X-Men is what, like 75?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been like 7 years. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's just, It's crazy.
All right. We'll start to jump into it. And of course, afterwards, we are reading Thunderbolts. We're continuing that. We are on issue number 20. Is that what we just read? Yeah, yes. We're on issue number 20 of Thunderbolts. We'll talk about that afterwards. But Wolverine, let's jump into it. We start in the Canadian Rockies, where Wolverine is hunting a bear for some reason. They sent Wolverine after a bear because some hunter shot it with an arrow and left it alive and it enraged the bear, and it's been killing people. So he's going after it. It's a bear fight.
Yep.
He climbs a mountain, takes care of this bear. At first I thought he was going after Sabretooth because I thought, it just kind of felt like the right thing, but it's just a regular old bear. After that's done, he does go after the hunter who left it alive and kind of takes him to court. A little bit of a weird scene where the guy smashes his face with a mug of beer, and he just kind of sits there. It's like, okay, and then the scene ends, but he tells us what happened afterwards.
It's like that. I was hoping you'd do that. But we know what Wolverine does. He's gonna fuck him up. So we don't even have to see it.
We don't even have to see. We saw him fuck up a bear, but we don't need to see him fuck up this other guy.
This guy looks like Rupert Thorne, the Batman villain.
He does. He's also got Peter Graves eyebrows and stuff. But
yeah, I don't the color of his. It was just very bright and gaudy. I don't know. I feel like you're asking for trouble dressed like that. But all of a sudden afterwards, he's done with that adventure, and he finds himself thinking about Mariko Yoshida. Who he's been trying to send her letters, trying to call her back home in Japan, his long-lost love. Is this the first time we've heard of her? Is this our first introduction to this character?
No.
Okay. So he realizes he's got to go to Japan and figure out what's up with her, why she hasn't been responding to him. How long have they been a thing? When did she? Yeah.
So she was in Uncanny X-Men. Her first appearance is in Uncanny X-Men 118, which is 1979.
Okay.
So 3 years earlier, she's introduced. I remember during the Phoenix Saga, which we covered for the show, we learned that he spoke Japanese. And then we learned that he was a weeb, and then we learned that he had a Japanese girlfriend shortly after that.
Wolverine, that's right.
I don't. He's flying in like a commercial jet, and I feel like he's very heavy for a commercial jet.
He is.
Yeah, he's got the adamantium bones. Doesn't Wolverine weigh like 1,000 pounds?
No, he has
that much.
They infuse his bones, but it's not like he's made of solid adamantium.
Okay, at best plated. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not to the core. Okay.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not like Ultron, like a big heavy robot.
He's not like donk donk donk. Okay,
and worst case,
vibrates, but okay.
I think what they do is like they weigh the plane and then they arrange the luggage in such a way that it like evens it out. So I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
Yeah, I do remember there's a scene in Uncanny X-Men from this era where he goes through a metal detector and then of course sets it off. And he's like, "Yeah, I got shrapnel in me from whatever war." And they're like, "Oh, that makes sense, sir. Thank you for your service."
Okay, so Reddit says that he weighs, and like all these like trading cards say he weighs 300 pounds with the metal. Okay.
So yeah, he weighs a little more than you would think, but it's not.
He's also
like a crazy
short,
amount.
Right? So he's like a 5'6" dude or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's deceptively heavy, but he's not like Hulk weight.
Yeah, he's got like bulldog weight. Like he's just like stocky. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it. I'm on board then. All right. Japan Airlines Flight 007 is cleared for takeoff.
Flight 007 was a weird touch. I don't know why it was Flight 007. I'm glad you mentioned that. I did not write down a ton of notes for this comic here. All right, so he goes to visit a friend in Japan. What's this guy's name? Asano something or other. And his friend in Japan's like, "Oh, well, she got married, man. Sorry." But it was like an arranged marriage from her dad, that kind of thing, where she had to. And he was like, "Okay, well, I got to go find her." Goes to find her. And finds out that she's being beaten by her new husband. And so he's getting pissed about this. The husband comes out and Mariko's like, "Hey, this is just a family duty thing. You don't understand, Logan. I have no choice. Just if you truly understand Japanese culture, just leave me alone. Go away." So Logan's like kind of dejected. He starts to leave, but then he gets hit with a bunch of poison shuriken. And he wakes up and it's Mariko's dad. Shingen seems right to me, but I don't know. He wakes up and his dad is like, "Hey, who the fuck do you think you are? You're not good for my daughter. You're an animal. I'll challenge you to a sword fight and humiliate you." And Wolverine's still a little bit poisoned, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, okay." And they do a sword fight, but little by little he gets pissed. He goes into an animalistic rage during the fight.
It's berserker rage.
Berserker rage, that's right. And Mariko's dad is like, "See, this guy sucks. This guy's an animal. You can't. He's not meant to be with you." And Mariko just kind of goes along with the lines, like, "Yep, he's not honorable." And that just Logan is super dejected now. He was already gonna leave sad.
Yeah.
But then the dad got involved, and now he's leaving, and it's just sadder. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and we learned because Mariko just like announced to him previously, like, "Oh, I'm married now because my father's alive and had this arranged marriage." And so when Wolverine sees her, like she's all beaten up by her husband, so he doesn't like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. I really like this first issue. I think this is a pretty good first issue.
It's a really good first issue.
Like we get like Wolverine fighting a bear, so we know him there. We got like Wolverine in Japan. Okay, that's a little different. But we got like a nice domestic disturbance. So like there's stakes. Like Wolverine likes this girl. She's getting beaten by her husband in an arranged marriage. That fucking sucks. And her dad sucks too. But then they beat him with poison shuriken. But he's gonna get his revenge. I know he is. So this is it's everything you want out of a good Frank Miller issue. It's like, yeah.
It is. It's a nice like marriage of, because like I think of Frank Miller books as reading very fast, and Chris Claremont books is reading very slow.
Yeah.
And like it's a nice mix where it's a little fast, but you're like, this was only 22 pages, and there was a lot of story here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I generally prefer the Frank Miller parts over the Chris Claremont parts, I'll say. But let's see.
It's
Wolverine
a fun
is
mix, though. Like when you think about it, like Claremont and
it's
Frank
not
Miller
bad.
is an odd collaboration.
It's a very odd couple, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also, Frank Miller's
Wolverine.
art, it looks pretty good here. Like, I know he goes crazy in his art. He continues making things into like the 2010s, and they get worse and worse. But I'm like, this looks good.
It's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it does anything that, like, every once in a while I'd be like, oh yeah, it is Frank Miller, because it's not doing anything like, I don't know, super crazy, but it is laid out really well, all the fights and all that. This next scene I think has some of my favorite. Go ahead though, Vince.
I was gonna say issue 4 is 100% a Frank Miller issue, and I will get there when we get there. I will explain why.
This next scene where Wolverine is just kind of like lying on the streets of Japan, drunk somewhere, possibly, and he gets approached by a bunch of thugs who are like, "Hey, we don't want gaijin like messing up our streets," and they want trouble. And you just see them holding their weapons up in the air, and then the next panel is them like starting to drop all their weapons. I just enjoy that. And then some lady shows up and like kind of grabs him by the throat and says, "You're mine, Wolverine." Who's this? Who's this lady?
She's probably good.
She's got to be good if she's holding Wolverine by the throat out of nowhere, right?
She's a dame to kill for. She's trouble. I've read enough Frank Miller. She's a femme fatale. Which we're gonna find that out. Yeah. All
right. So onto the next issue here. Wolverine wakes up in some apartment or something next to the woman who's been, I guess, healing him or some such. I don't know. He was just asleep. There's a lot of scenes of Wolverine being drunk and falling asleep, which is probably the part of this book that I buy the least. Because I thought Wolverine didn't really get drunk, or maybe just for a little while and it wore off super quickly.
Yeah, it's just years of power creep of like, oh, Wolverine like immediately like is fine no matter what you do to him, so he can't get drunk. I like it better that it's just like he's basically a video game protagonist here, and that like if he stops taking damage, he'll just be like okay,
right.
But you can still knock him out.
Yeah.
Right. He's just going to be better. I don't know if I talked about this. I threw my back out a couple weeks ago, and then I was watching like Spider-Man cartoons and stuff. And Spider-Man's like in a hospital bed, and I'm like laid out, like I cannot stand up. And I'm like, Spider-Man, the way you were beat up, I don't think you can get out of this hospital bed and go do another fight. I just like twisted my back like picking up a cinder block. And that's what I feel like Wolverine would probably be like in the pain I was in. But then it wouldn't take him like a week to get better. He would take, like a day to not be laid out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the original Wolverine. And Wolverine now he like they shoot him with bullets and he just like and they like fly out of him, right?
Exactly.
So they wake up and they're getting attacked by a bunch of ninjas. Oh no.
Do we know that they're the hand yet?
Not yet, but Yukio tells us. So we get introduced to this lady who is Yukio, and she says, "Hey, they're the Hand," like from Daredevil, yeah. And he throws a bunch of them out the window. There's more on the roof. Whole bunch of fighting, whole bunch of arrows raining down, all that. And Yukio is like, "Yeah, I saved your life." And Logan's like, "Okay, then I'm paying you back now. I'm saving yours." So they go back to his hotel room after that. His scars are all healed up, and she's surprised by that. But he explains, he doesn't super explain. He just kind of, I heal quickly. He's like, "Don't worry, I'll defend you." And she goes, "I can defend myself," and pulls a knife on him, but he stops her. And Logan senses like a familiar scent on that knife. And they also have a little bit of romantic tension there. She's kind of hitting on him, trying to get some, but he's still only thinking about Mariko. Then we cut to Shinjin's office, Mariko's dad, where Mariko and her husband are trying to go in to see Shinjin, but he's busy and he won't see them. And then someone else comes in, some lady who's trying to see Shinjin. And she busts her way through, and it's Yukio. She works for him. Oh my god. What? She's evil. What a reveal so quickly after we've met her. and he tells her the plan. Like, hey, there's a meeting that's gonna happen. Oh yeah, she's pissed because she's like, hey, why'd those ninjas like make it so real? Like they almost hurt me. And he's like, well, they fucking had to with Wolverine. He's smart. You gotta make it real or else who's gonna know? So they're gonna do a thing where he puts his own daughter in danger as well, where some people are gonna kill her, but the whole thing is a plan to kill Logan and to kill this other guy that they're meeting with. So he's like, Yukio, you're gonna be there. You gotta make sure Wolverine and this other guy are both dead, and we're good. Um, so they go to this meeting. It's like at some little theater where there's a play happening. Um, and one of the actors turns out to be evil and is going to try to assassinate Mariko. Oh
Oh,
no!
like
And
Hitman.
Wolverine's yeah. And Wolverine springs in, and they're gonna have a big old fight there. This whole thing goes pretty quickly. Whenever Frank Miller is just doing fight scenes, it's just like it's just big old panels, big after big old panel. I like the streams of blood. I like all the dynamic poses. There's a lot of people jumping at each other, and then the next frame they're past each other. That happens constantly throughout this
Mhm.
book. Um, and so after the fighting, um, Mariko and her husband are trying to get in a car, and the car explodes. Is that what happens? But they're both
No,
okay.
no, that's the other guy, the Shinjin's rival.
Oh, okay. This makes more sense. I thought, yes, all right, much better. So then they were okay, and I was like, hold on, what was that exploding car? All right, so the rival guy that they wanted dead is dead. Mariko stays alive. Everyone's fine. And Wolverine, like again, goes into this berserker rage, fighting everyone. And Mariko sees it, and she's just aghast. She's like, "Oh my God, I've never seen him so animalistic." And Wolverine is ashamed that she's seen this. And Yukio was like, haha, you're mine now. Gotcha. But I thought her plan was to kill him, but she didn't kill him. So I don't know what's going on here.
Does she know she can't kill him? Like,
I don't know. Does anyone know they can't kill him? Also, like, does he know he can't be killed? Because a lot of times throughout this book, he's like, I was right on the edge. It was super close. They almost got me, but I was okay. You know? Um,
yeah, I feel like the Superman Secret Identity guys, like, I don't think they can really get me. But they got close this time. I heard that a couple issues.
yeah. So next issue, Wolverine is sumo wrestling.
Hell
He's
yeah.
he's kind of he's lost it all. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He's down, just doing bar fights and stuff like that, making money however he can. His friend Asuno comes up to him, finds him, and is like, "Hey, we need this Shinjin guy killed because he's like terrible. Like everyone wants him dead. He's taking control of the underworld. We need to get him out of here." And he was like, I don't really care about that, but maybe okay. Then him and Yukio have a drunken scene where they're making out on train tracks. And then the train approaches, and like Logan realizes it just in time and was like, oh my God. And they jump out of the way. I was like, what the hell, lady? You're crazy. And she's like, oh, you know what? We're all going to die. When I die, I want to die spectacularly. And the next panel, Logan is asleep. She's like, "Oh, you sleep, Logan John. Don't fear, I'll protect you." That I think this is the moment where I kind of turned on the comic a little bit. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, Chris Claremont? What is this?" Um, I don't know. And then we get a flash, like a dream sequence from him. I'll be honest, I stopped caring a little bit over here. It was all sort of like I know it's all going to turn out okay in the end. Already knew what the deal with Yukio was. I don't know. It was just kind of there. Um, so they're fighting ninjas. Logan. Oh yeah, Yukio tries to wake Logan up during this ninja fight. Oh yeah, hold on. Logan's asleep off to the side, and these ninjas show up, and they're like, "Hey, you were supposed to kill him," which I feel like I wouldn't say in earshot of Wolverine, even if he was asleep. Like that's dangerous. The guy could be secretly asleep and listening to everything. That's not. You don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But she beats up the ninjas. He wakes up and goes, Mariko, is that you? And she kicks him in the face and
Damn it.
gets out of
He
there.
used
I
another
was back.
woman's name.
I was back on board. Back on board here.
Mm-hmm.
Good moment. Kick him in the face. She goes into Asuno's apartment, kills that guy.
Not Asano.
Or
Yeah, it's Asano.
Or was it the other way
it's
around?
Asano.
He's
It's
coming
Asano.
into her apartment.
She murdered Asano still.
Yeah.
She murdered Asano, regardless of where it happened.
Yeah. Which he looks like Kiryu's best friend, handler in the last few Kiryu games, who also dies. Spoiler alert.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh no, it's just like Hanawa or Asano. Yeah, I was very sad.
Don't worry, every side character in the Yakuza games dies. They don't matter. He shows up and finds Asuno's body dead, and he's like, oh my god. And he smells the blades, and he's like, wait a minute, that's Yukio's blades, and that's the same ones that poisoned me before. Oh my god, Yukio, you're evil, and I'm gonna fucking kill you. So he's out there.
He's like chasing her on like the rooftops, and it's got like these like kind of like art pop like neon signs behind them. It looks kind of like that Skyfall fight in Shanghai. It's kind of cool. Which they're like silhouetted against like cool like advertising images. It's pretty cool art design.
Yeah.
And then my panel of the week is when he finally gets to Yukio, and he blasts out his claws, and it says "snicked" across his claws with the lettering. That's my panel of the week. It's so cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's like that's the Wolverine panel of the week.
It's not bad.
Frank Miller loves his big lettering also. He does love it, so I'm all aboard. Actually, there's a lot because that also has "crash" in like italics earlier on that page. It's cool.
I got to talk about the cover to issue number 4, where Wolverine is holding a crossbow with one hand, while he's lighting a cigarette with the other hand. Does Wolverine ever hold a crossbow in these comics?
He does, because he okay. So let's just
he does. You're right.
He has all the hand.
Yeah, because there's a part where he's like,
weapons.
He's like, I need all these weapons. I don't really need these, but they don't hurt. It's like what he says, and it's just because you know what, Wolverine holding a crossbow looks cool. Frank Miller knows it. He knows it.
Yep. Also, Disney is afraid of how cool that picture looks. They can't let him look that cool in the movies.
So what's going on in the next issue? Wolverine's preparing for fight with all these weapons. He's he's fighting people on the roof, all that stuff. Yukio goes to Shinjin, talking about how
she attacks him first.
Yeah,
because fun fact, Frank Miller likes to write bad guys with bald bad guys in white suits being attacked by female assassins that used to work for them but now are mad at them. And then they're also like working with the hand. Like it's I don't know. This is the first time he's ever come up with this idea.
Yeah,
it's very specific. Very specific.
Yeah. So it's just like, she actually does love Wolverine, and she's like, maybe if I kill this guy, he hates.
The Kingpin, right? No, not Kingpin. What's his name?
Then he'll forgive me for killing his friend.
Did she kill Foggy or Ben Urich, or just stab them in the books we read?
She was supposed to. I don't think she actually did she?
Yeah, I remember she was like going after Froggy.
I think Ben Urich definitely got like stabbed in a movie theater or something.
Yeah, I think he did, but I don't think Foggy.
Maybe Foggy's died like 5 times, so it's hard to keep track.
Yeah. So Mariko shows up while her father is beating up Yukio. I was like, Dad, what the fuck are you doing beating up this lady? Knock it off. She is not a big fan of her father, it seems. Her husband shows up. What's the husband's name? I never wrote it down anywhere, but I don't think it matters. But he shows up. What is it?
Dead meat.
Dead meat.
And Wolverine shows up, and this guy pulls a gun to Mariko. And then he fires at Logan, and we get a thunk, thunk, thunk sound effect. I don't know what that means, but there's red blood over there, which means he's dead. And the next panel confirms he's got claws through his belly. So Mariko's husband is dead.
Whose claws are they?
That's also like, whose claws are they? Because they're just claws. Like, oh wait, no, they're not claws. They're Yukio's knives. That's what it is.
I wouldn't have done 3 of them to draw that. That's confusing.
They did. You're right. I didn't even realize it till right now. I thought they were Wolverine's claws going up. No, they're Yukio's claws going down. That's what it is.
They're like 3 knives just like in him, like perfectly looking like Wolverine's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So Yukio kills the husband, which is probably best for Logan. You know, you don't want to be the guy who kills the current husband. You just want him dead. You know.
Right. I do like that maybe he didn't have a name, and that would have been a good time to be like, you know what? I never even caught your name, man. I just knew you were the shitty husband. That's how I knew you. You didn't even
Apparently, his name was Noboru Hideki, but I don't remember this.
Nope.
Wolverine's kind of on the ground, and Yukio goes to him and is like, gives him a kiss and says, "Hey, I want to stay and fight with you," but he's like, "You can't." And without another word, she's gone. Okay. And then
I can't forgive her for Asano, and I can never repay her for Mariko. So I let her go. This is like 10 years away from Sin City, and you can feel it.
Yes.
And then Shinjin comes out. He pulls out his sword, and they're doing a big old fight.
So in the movie, he would be in a robot suit at this point.
Yes, he would be.
And I think that because I think I saw this movie, kinda.
Yeah, I like that movie.
I vaguely remember, but there was like a shitty old man, and he ended up in a robot suit at the end, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Are you talking about Iron Man?
No,
No,
it's like
the
the Wolverine. Not to be confused with X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's the Wolverine, not Logan. It's Wolverine 2, 2014. Yeah. It's pretty good, actually.
How many Wolverine / Logan movies do they make?
There's 3,
there's
and then
there's Origins, and then there's the Wolverine, and then Logan, and then Deadpool and Wolverine.
That one doesn't count.
Wolverine 4, Deadpool 3.
Okay, I'll take that. So they're fighting. They're having a duel, and Wolverine kills Shinjin, and that's that. And he goes and Mariko shows up and sees what's happened, and Logan's like, "Yeah, I killed your dad. Sorry, Mariko. I guess you could never love me anymore. This is like the worst thing I could have done. It's the most dishonorable thing I could have done." And she's like, "Nah, listen, I was gonna do it myself and then commit suicide because he was the dishonorable one for all the evil shit he was doing. His sword is a sword of honor, and you should take it. And also, we're together now." And Wolverine recovers until the spring, and then sends a letter back home to the X-Men, and we get this weird panel of, I think, Colossus, Shadowcat, and Storm, and Nightcrawler, and who's the guy with the glasses?
Wonder Man?
Morph? Wonder Man's not a mutant? Oh, Cyclops.
With dark hair?
They're not red. But wait, they're not red glasses.
Yeah, they are.
Whatever.
Yeah, they are.
Oh,
they're
hold
red
on. The digital,
but black hair is what I've got.
Hold on. The digital copy that I'm looking at has just like black and blue sunglasses. No red in there whatsoever.
Weird. No, mine is red sunglasses but with black hair. So he's got like Wonder Man's look, but Wonder
Hold
Man
on,
wouldn't be there.
I downloaded multiple scans here. In another version I downloaded, we got red glasses. What are we talking about? Multiple copies that I purchased is what
it was probably it's probably a color correction. They probably got it wrong the first time.
Yeah. All right, so that's definitely Cyclops.
Lynn Varley wouldn't do that. Lynn Varley wouldn't do that. She's a good colorist.
And the letter is a wedding invitation. Aww. Look at that. They're going to get married. And there's a note written by Logan in hand on the wedding invitation that says, "Hey, Elf, don't forget the beer."
He's making sure the German's in charge of the beer. That's right. That's a thought. Right. I went down a rabbit hole because it says His Honorable, the Imperial Majesty Hirohito, Emperor of Japan. I'm like, Japan still has an emperor? I guess they still have an emperor. Yep. They just lost all their powers after World War II. But Hirohito was there from like the 20s through the late 80s. I looked up. I went down a rabbit hole. But I guess this is such a big deal. He's sending out wedding invitations on behalf of them.
Yeah.
I really like that it's also like you're invited to the wedding of Lady Mariko of Clan Yoshida to Logan. That's all I got for him.
Not even of Alpha Flight and the Honorable X-Men or anything like that.
Nothing like that. Nope. Logan of America.
Logan's his name.
Just Logan. And that's it. I think most of the collections that I was looking at include the next 2 issues where the X-Men go to Japan for the wedding or something.
Oh, okay.
I didn't read this. Did y'all read that at all?
No.
Is that like an Uncanny or something?
It's Uncanny.
I've read it before.
It's also...
Believe it or not, Logan does not get married.
It's also
Did
just
she
from
die
flipping
or
through it.
this? Or
No,
did they just not get married? Okay.
they just can't be together because honor separates them and blah blah blah. You get the picture.
Yeah,
The
looking at the
Emperor
last
went
two
off on it.
panels.
That's fine. It's fine.
Looking at the last two panels, Logan says why, and she says because Gaijin, you are not worthy. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, rough stuff. And then he's just crying. Damn. Sorry, Logan. Never got married after all. And that's it for Wolverine. What did y'all think, Vince?
I
We'll
liked
jump to
it.
you.
I liked it. Fun fact: Frank Miller of the early '80s makes really good comics. And I think Chris hit the nail on the head. I didn't really pick up. I was like, it's Claremont, but not super wordy Claremont, and it's not super fast. And Miller leaning into all of his tendencies. Although by the end, it is very much just a Daredevil issue. But as far as the first solo series for Wolverine, you could do a lot worse, and I think it's pretty good. If I had got this as a collected edition as a kid, I'd be like, this is badass. I would have loved it. So it's a good little noir tale. It's got ninjas. It's got Wolverine. I mean, what more would 11-year-old Vince want?
Great. Chris?
Yeah, I agree. I think in a way it almost the comics code or whatever it is, all it works to their strength. I love we didn't even mention the panel at the end of their fight, because we mentioned there's multiple times where they do the anime or manga run by where they both stab each other trope. But the way Wolverine kills Shingen is he catches his sword and then you just see his fist up against his chin, and then it just shows Wolverine's face and you just hear snicked, and you're just like, oh yeah, I know what he did. It's pretty gruesome. But if you just showed me that, I'd be like, okay, that's pretty gross. But it makes it a little higher brow, and also gets it past the comics code to be like, okay, well, I know that he just literally put his knife hands through this guy's mouth, disgustingly. But I think that restraint makes it better. I liked the fighting. It is a little repetitive. They do, the hand seem really useless in this book, because Yukio is regularly kicking their ass, and then Wolverine also kicks their ass. So you're like, these guys can't do anything right. Yeah. But I overall I liked it. I'm not a huge Wolverine fan. This really leans into the lone wolf and cub of it all. So I like that.
I hate to be the negative Nelly of the group here. I really didn't like this very much. I was pretty bored reading it most of the time. The first issue set things up well, and then afterwards it was just it was a lot of fighting that I didn't super care about. But I will say that, talking about it with y'all, I like it more just because y'all had so much fun with it and pointed out more of the stuff. And it's not like I missed it, but I was like, okay, yeah, that was fun. That detail was fun, all that sort of stuff. I still just found myself mostly bored throughout this. I don't know.
For a 96-page comic, it feels a little repetitive sometimes.
Yeah. And I found myself just kind of not really caring about Yukio, not really caring about any of the stuff with the hand. But it was also a quick enough read that it wasn't oh my God, I hate this comic. You know what I mean? It was just kind of okay, we're going through it. It felt like a very going through the motions comic. But yeah, like I said, I liked it more after talking about it, just because, yeah, it was pretty fun, and it did have a lot of very fun moments. I think actually another fun moment I didn't mention was I think back in the first issue where he first meets the dad, and the dad's like, hey man, you're coming in here without any respect. You're acting like a real piece of shit. Or I don't remember exactly what he says, but Logan's just like, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
With his milk steak, just a real piece of shit.
Yeah,
it is funny because he's speaking fluent Japanese to him, but he's like, I don't like your tone, Wolverine.
Yeah,
but overall, you didn't use the proper honorifics when you addressed me.
But yeah, like you said, Vince, you could do a lot worse with a first solo series for Wolverine. I just feel like you could do a lot better in a way. You know what I mean? But overall, it was fine. I do like that it eventually bled into the wedding stuff, for at least going to Japan for everybody. That's nice. It's cute. And I think if I had I don't know. I wanted it to just explain a little bit more of the history with him and Mariko, but I don't know. Didn't matter all that much. I think that's it. Anyone else got anything else to say about it?
Nope, I
Rebut
don't.
me. Tell me how wrong I am. It was excellent. Nope.
Nope.
Nothing. I was
You're
right.
good.
It was terrible. All right. So on to Thunderbolts number 20. Reading some Thunderbolts here. Last issue, what was going on? They got that offer from the Masters of Evil to join them. The Masters of Evil screwed up their fight, and so they're like, nah, fuck it, we're killing them. So they are heading towards the Masters of Evil to fight back against them. We get thought balloons of what everyone's thinking, which is pretty typical for this book, as we've been going, where we just kind of start with what everyone's thinking. And for a team book, I do appreciate that everyone always has very different viewpoints. Whereas with a lot of team books, some people can kind of get like, just kind of like lost in the crowd of like, yep, we're on the team, we're here for the mission.
Yeah, well, and they're all the same or something, and especially like when it's like a single writer and not like actors involved, like they don't necessarily have separate motivations. That like conflict, like, or at least that's how my terrible writing was. Like all these characters sound the same, yeah, because they sound like me. And so like it's nice to see like I like the split panel they have of like I am Atlas, this is the bullshit I want. I am Jolt, this is the bullshit I want, and I'm like this is very good, especially like the first part of a new arc.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect for the beginning of an issue, what's going on here? Moonstone is worried that Atlas and Mach 1 have been speaking up more, doing more leadership kind of things. She's like, I want to stay in charge. I want to keep this team under my thumb. Atlas just wants to be more dependable, wants to be a rock for the team. Jolt is glad that they're not joining the Masters of Evil. She's glad they're fighting back against them, but she kind of wishes it was for justice and not for revenge. Mach 1 is worried about his suit holding together because it's still all beat up. And I really like that you can just kind of see the cracks in his suit.
Chris, I think you mentioned that because like he got it from somebody else. Like he's not the maker of this suit.
Techno built it.
Right, and he's like a decent engineer, he's been saying, but he's not like the engineer, and he's also...
Because presumably he would have had to repair his Beetle costume.
Right.
But like, yeah, he didn't build it, and he's not like, he's not a Reed Richards inventor type guy. He's just like a good mechanic, basically.
And he's also worried about Melissa Songbird, and Songbird just has revenge on her mind. So they find the Masters of Evil at a money printing place. What do you call this place?
I think money printing place is right.
That's the right word for it.
Well, the Denver Mint is in Colorado.
A mint. There you go.
Mint. Yep. That sounds right.
And they were like, yeah, we heard one of the other people on your team kind of like mentioning that they were going to be going after something like that. And there was one in Washington, D.C. and one in Colorado. So we figured it was that one. So they show up. Crimson Cowl is like, all right, take the money we've got so far. We're going to teleport away. And Jolt shows up and shocks Crimson Cowl. And they're like, yeah, we assumed you were using some tech to teleport away all the time, so we shocked you so you can't. And she's like, okay, so we'll kill you instead. And they all kind of pair off and fight. Decent little bit of a fight scene. At one point, Claw tries to drain Songbird's sound energy because it's his sound energy that he created. But she manages to blast him back with it and kind of like, really screw him up and burn off his clothes and all that. And the team is generally doing well. They've got the upper hand on the Masters of Evil. Moonstone realizes that they're winning. And she's like, I got to take credit for this. So she goes, okay, team, we're going to make a big push towards the victory. Everyone gather up on me and let's do it. But that turns out to be a mistake because Claw is able to blast them all at once because they're all in one location. And they all get captured. Claw also, I think, is the MVP of this scene. He's constantly pissed at Crimson Cowl for ordering him around and constantly being like, see, I'm the one who took them down. I'm the one who's got them trapped in my little sound prisons. I'm the one who's doing this. I don't like your tone, Crimson Cowl. All that stuff.
Yeah, I do like it because like it is kind of, odd that Claw is like the most senior of them. Like we don't know who the Crimson Cowl is, but she's pretty new. presumably, and like Claw's been around forever, and he's also seems to be the most powerful of them. It's like, yeah, really, he maybe should be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
I know who Claw is. He's in the Black Panther movie.
Exactly.
He is, yeah. Is he? Who plays him? Is it
Andy Serkis?
Yeah, Andy
Yeah.
Serkis. I was
Yeah,
gonna
Director
say.
of
Doing
Venom
it-
2.
Doing an Afrikaner accent.
Yeah.
Which isn't that far off from like where, because is he New Zealand or is he Australian?
I think he's Australian. He might be New Zealand.
They all the Thunderbolts wake up. They're like tied up in these prisons. Songbird's got her mouth covered, so she can't use her sound powers. And then out of nowhere, Dread Knight comes in to save them.
Hell yeah.
Whoa, it's Dread Knight.
This is like when like Demo Goblin shows up in the mid 90s. I'm like, this is such a cool design and it's such bullshit now. But like
Yeah.
at the time I'm 12 and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, this guy looks like a metallic Thor kind of character, with a skull and crossbones on his chest, and he's riding like a metal like flying machine that maybe is like meant to be his horse.
Right.
Okay, I'm
Right.
into it. Yeah, have y'all ever heard of Dread Knight before this? I hadn't.
I
They
have.
did. Kurt Busiek was like, he was a Doctor Doom villain. I'm like, of course, Kurt Busiek. Of course he was.
Yeah.
You didn't make this shit up. You just found something
No.
stupid and made it cool.
No, he was he debuted in Iron Man, and even though I think he was only in like 2 or 3 issues of Iron Man ever, he had an action figure in the '90s cartoon / toy line
Hell yeah.
for the Iron Man thing. So I had seen him before. I don't think I'd ever read a comic with him in it, but I was like, oh, this guy, he's like an evil Black Knight.
Yeah. But Kurt Busiek remembered him. Kurt Busiek remembers everything.
The Pepperidge Farm of Marvel Raiders.
He does remember. Because I had to look up. His last appearance was in a Black Knight limited series in 1990, which he references, and I'm like, yeah, I had no idea this had happened.
Jolt remembered it though.
Jolt knows everything. Jolt is the
Jolt's
Kurt
the
Busiek
Kamala
stand-in.
Khan. Yeah, she's
Yeah, exactly. Even she's like, well, I didn't know that part.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I had heard about Doctor Doom.
The Thunderbolts are also saying that the cops are showing up because they called them ahead of time before they came in. The Crimson Cowl is like, oh shit, and they can't teleport out of there because her shit's all fucked up. So she's like, Claw, make a sound platform and carry us away. And he's like, I'm saving the day again. So they fly away. And the Thunderbolts and Dread Knight also fly away. The news we see is talking about this whole thing that's going on. They still don't trust that the Thunderbolts were there to help, or they're still unsure. They've got some talking head on there who mentions
her
like,
name's it's Dr. something, but the reporter is like Gail Weathers. It's basically Courtney Cox's character's name from Scream, but it's very slightly different.
it's Gail Rogers. We met her. Didn't we meet her
She's
in
not
the last
Megan
issue?
whatever though. That was Kurt Busiek's other reporter that he liked. He had like a blonde.
Dallas.
No, she's
Reardon.
with the
No,
mayor's
yeah, that
office.
was the mayor.
Yeah.
There's a blonde reporter named like Megan.
Oh, I
something.
see.
Yeah.
No, this is like, isn't this the woman that they were like, we're gonna hire you to cover the Thunderbolts exclusively?
Maybe that might be.
Yes.
I think that was
She's
her.
been in
Yes.
a few issues.
Yes, she's from the Solo Avengers series, so she had existed before, but most of her appearances are in Thunderbolts, believe it or not.
Believe it or not, what?
So she's got some talking head on there who's written a book about the dark side of the Marvels. And he's like, there have been some superheroes who were formed, like Hawkeye and Namor and the Scarlet Witch, but like, honestly, it's very few and far between. And the Thunderbolts are like fucking psychotic. They're sociopaths, and they've got a big old history of evil. So no, I don't think
Hey.
they were formed.
I think that's unfair. Just because Atlas has admitted he used to be insane. Let's see, Moonstone is a sociopath.
Yep.
What?
Songbird.
Did we skip over when she starts calling herself Mimi?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, during the fight, she's like, "You don't treat Mimi like that," and Malcolm's like, "Oh shit, she's doing it again."
Because she's been acting very angry.
Very
the
cray-cray.
last couple issues. Mimi's coming out.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess Mach 1 seems to be the sanest.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think
but
so.
that
And
scene
I guess
also
Jolt.
serves for us to say some characters' names that may come into play.
Yeah, it's good to say some characters' names every once in a while, like Hawkeye and some other people. It's just good to mention them.
Yeah. You can think about Namor.
Yeah. While the Thunderbolts are flying away, Dread Knight fills them all in on his side of the story, about how his metal helmet was fused to his head by Doctor Doom. And Jolt's like, yeah, I know all that. And he's and they're like, but I thought you had a horse. And he's like, I lost my horse, so I had to steal this other one while I was a villain. But like, I'm trying to reform, like you guys are. So I wanted to show up and see if y'all were for real, and I want to join the team. Well,
He's like, look, a life of a former criminal, it's very difficult to hold a job. So I figured, like, Dr. Doom's going to come after me. I'm not going to be able to hold a legit job. So I got to be a criminal. But then, like, why you want to team up with us? Like, well, y'all seem like y'all are on the right path. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. I do like this Dreadnought guy, Dread Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah,
Dread Knight, yep.
He seems legit. And, like, honestly, at this point, and Chris is going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I honestly did think he was legit. I thought he was.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
I believe.
Meanwhile, we cut over to Zemo and Techno. They're still in Central America. They're still paying attention to the news. What's going on? Zemo, I love this panel, by the way. Zemo is riding around in like a palanquin that Techno is made out of. Like, it is Techno. He's like a giant kind of spider thing that Zemo's riding in. It's great.
He's his own mech suit now.
Yeah. And Techno's telling him, like, hey man, I'm probably gonna like leave soon. Like, our whole adventure is basically over. Like, the whole challenge we started with, and like, I've been happy to help you, but I kind of just want to get back to my lab. And Zemo's like, hey man, that's cool. We're good. Just like, give me a couple more weeks so we can do a one shot with Captain America that comes out with 2 weeks according to the editor's note, and then you're good.
With Citizen V.
Yeah. So that's what they're up to. Back at the cabin, the Thunderbolts have given Dread Knight a room up in the attic while they kind of talk things over and figure things out. Yeah, they're talking about if they should include him or not, but things kind of shift to leadership. Mach 1, Abe, is like, listen, Moonstone, I'm sorry to bring this up, but I don't know if you should be leader anymore. You've kind of like messed up pretty big, like on the last thing. And you didn't exactly take care of the graviton thing. You just kind of like set him free. And he's also thinking about that alien she killed on that other universe, all that kind of stuff. They're talking about other potential leaders. Like, Jolt is the most idealistic, but she's too inexperienced. Atlas has like all that military history, but he's just a grunt. Melissa just wants to look out for herself. Abe doesn't really want it, but he was like, if he's the best option, maybe he should take it. And then Dread Knight throws his helmet into the room, and they're like, what? I thought his helmet was fused to his head. What is this?
Such good art. Especially when you read it panel by panel on the phone, you're like, this is really good.
And it's not Dread Knight at all. It's Hawkeye. Oh my god.
Hawkeye!
It was a pretty good reveal. I knew this was coming, and I'd totally forgotten that this is what it was. I was like, what's up with this Dread Knight guy? I don't remember this guy being on the team.
I'm like, where's because I was like expecting that Wizard creative villain to join the team. I'm like, where's that guy?
No, he'll join later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's Hawkeye. It's a good cliffhanger here. Yeah. Thoughts, Vince?
I did not like any of the Masters of Evil shit at the beginning. I was like, this is boring. I don't like this. I'm bored. And then fucking Busiek. Well, one, I do like the scene where they're arguing, like, we're not probably all good, like, heroes. I like the Dread Knight stuff. And then the reveal at the end, I'm like, fuck, he's so good with them cliffhangers. I'm like, I'm on board. I gotta see this Hawkeye shit again. Like, he's so good.
Yep.
First half of the issue, back half of the issue, great.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same place. I was like, Thunderbolts, are we going to keep reading this? It's getting kind of boring. And then, like, fuck it. Busiek says, no, you're going to keep reading. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys completely. Like, the first half, we've seen them fight the Masters of Evil enough times. This is their third fight against them?
Yeah.
Fourth, maybe? So it's just like, okay, I got it. But I appreciate that it's just to set up what the issue is really about, which is Hawkeye joining and continuing the like what's going to happen with the team. It seems like they're on the verge of falling apart at all times.
Well, we'll see what happens. Does Hawkeye join the team? Does he become the leader? Yeah, I think so. And that's that. That's
put Charcoal in charge. The
yeah,
Burning Man.
Charcoal the Burning. Well, Vince, you still haven't seen who Charcoal's like human identity is,
No, I haven't.
have you?
No, I haven't.
We'll see. He's not fit to be a leader either. But yeah, next time we'll keep going, see what Hawkeye's all about in issue number 21. And then our main read next time is going to be some Starman. I feel like we've never even mentioned Starman on this show at all. Have we mentioned the Starman, Stargirl, Star anybody?
No.
Ever?
There possibly was one in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I feel like I feel like when we read Superman's Secret Identity, I was starting to get like a Starman vibe. Kind of, or like any like legacy heroes kind of thing. I don't know. We don't talk about it like with the other books we've never covered, like Ecstatics or anything like that. Like Dupe stuff. But Starman's like an early 90s comic by James Robinson and Tony Harris that Kia, I know you and me have both read most of.
Yeah, I've got a few of the trades that I own physically, and I just kind of hadn't thought about it in forever.
Chris, have you ever read it?
I think I tried reading it a long time ago, and I don't think I got through the first trade.
Yeah. I think the second trade is really good. But fun fact, we're going to read the first trade.
I think it's because I had read like the Mark Waid Flash and like seeing I get tired of like DC heroes looking at their museums.
There are museums.
Just like
Yep.
So yeah, but
only in DC Comics do heroes like look at their museums and remember their fun adventures. I'm like, the Marvel characters never do this.
Yeah, it's a cool like legacy hero book though. Of like Starman is like not the first Starman. There have been a lot of previous Starmen that kind of weave in and out of the book. Tony Harris is the artist behind like Ex Machina by Brian K. Vaughan, if you remember that. So it's got interesting art for the 90s. It's coming back, I think, again, like with it's Vertigo adjacent. I don't think it's actually Vertigo. And I remember really liking Starman. I saw it on DC Infinite. I'm like, I should give that another try.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying it as well, so I'm excited to jump back into it. The first trade covers issues 0 through 5. We are going to read an issue number 0. Have we ever read an issue number 0 for this
We've
this
read
show?
issue zeros. We don't read issue halves.
You're right. And negative ones. We don't read those either.
Those are our
negative
rules.
ones and halves are bullshit, but zeros are okay in our book.
Yes.
So
we read
Starman
Spider-Girl 0, I want to say, but Spider-Girl half is a waste of time.
Yeah, we're going to read...
Yeah, that was a what-if issue anyway.
Yeah, forget that. What-if issues, unless it's specifically a what-if episode, no. So Starman 0 through 5, Thunderbolts 21, that's next time. Other than that, what else we got going on? Vince?
I was on an episode of Your Stupid Minds last week, covering the Love Guru with Chris and Nick. Nick was also on our All-Star Batman and Robin show. And then, that's all I've got to cover. Go check out Your Stupid Minds. Chris, what's going on with your other podcast?
Well, yeah, we just covered the Love Guru. I'm confused.
Sorry.
We also, Vince, and it'll be out probably in the next few weeks, recorded a episode about NBA Street Volume 2 for Games My Mom Found.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Me and Chris have been on a lot of episodes together recently. Like, I think one a week for the last, 4 weeks.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Kia,
what are you up to?
Oh, I forgot that I have to do plugs. We don't got time. We got to get out of here. Vince, I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
Chris, I love you.
It would dishonor our families for me to see you ever again. Sorry.
I'm going to have to kill your dad. Right. And listeners, we love you too. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.